Good Tuesday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. Hi, I am Joey McWilliams, and you are watching a presentation of the Bryan County Patriot, and I'm glad that you are along for the ride tonight. It is a good night. It is a good Tuesday night. If you've been outside some today, and I have, it's been absolutely beautiful. And if you sit in the shade, it's a little bit cool. If you get out there in the sunlight, it gets a little bit warmer. I have noticed, though, and I don't get I don't have allergies that I know of. I don't have allergic reactions that often. Sometimes after a long day of mowing, but still, I've noticed that I've been inside a little bit, maybe too much, because you go outside and wow, some of these things are catching my attention. So forget herd immunity for a moment. I just need to be outside and get myself adjusted to everything that's going on in the real world. Well, it is BCP Live, and I am really glad that you are here tonight. I'm also very glad to have tonight's guest, Chris Witherspoon. Chris, man, thank you very much for coming on, taking some time on a Tuesday night here in the 9 o'clock hour and spending some time with me.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Joey.
Listen, I appreciate I've already said I appreciate the red. You've got the KLBC going, you got the red because that's matching the red background right now. And I think that looks pretty cool. Audience is growing tonight, so I want to get right into visiting with you. And also, I do want to say thanks to our audience for stepping on tonight on a Tuesday night. I appreciate the folks that are stopping by. I'll give a shout out here in just a moment to some of the folks that have already stepped in. One of the things that has caught my attention about what you do, and I know you're the man in the midday right now. I don't know if I just gave you that moniker or not. You can keep it; it's free. But you're the man in the midday right now, going 10 to 2. But working there with the Mid-Continental Broadcasting, KLBC. One of the things that I like about what you do is honoring the first responders. Talk about that, because I think it's big any time of year, but now just as much as anything.
That was a real easy thing to pitch to Studeville Chevrolet. John Harkins over there used to be a firefighter, so when we came up with a way to honor first responders in the community, and not just in Durant, but all of Texoma, they were our first business to go to with that, and they jumped on board immediately with it. And it's been a great thing. We get a lot of nominees every single week from not only the community, but also the peers of the people we select. And the ones that are the most interesting are the ones that are from members of the community. Those are the people that have been in a bad situation and needed to call the police, and the police came out, and they were so thankful for what they were able to do for them as far as law enforcement officers, that they went above and beyond and nominated that law enforcement officer. I've had some firefighters the same way, some EMS workers, one particularly out of Atoka County. And it's just been a great thing. These people, Scott Corbin and I did a story this afternoon during the midday on a train wreck over around the Tishomingo area.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, as a firefighter going into something like that, burning diesel tanks, explosions and stuff like that. But those men and women step up and do it every single day. So we, along with Studeville, wanted to honor them.
I thought about posting that story on the Patriot today because it is local enough. And from your angle right there, I think that would give me something good to talk about. I don't want to just talk about a wreck just because it's a wreck. Although the guy driving the truck got out. And so, yeah. I mean, that's in and of itself, that's pretty cool. And I like the stories that end like that.
Yeah. Now, he was actually, from my understanding, pulled out by the train conductor and engineer. They jumped out of the train and pulled that guy out to safety. But then you had 4 different fire departments show up on scene and help put that blaze out and tend to the medical care that those folks needed.
Did you see any of the pictures?
I did.
Oh, my!
I did. I think Scott Corbin posted a few of them on our Facebook page.
Yeah, and the fact, again, that he gets out, and of course, props not only to the first responders, but at this point, the conductors being first responders themselves. In my life, I want to say I've been blessed to not have needed that attention from the police or for first responders that I know of really that much, but I do appreciate it so much, and you hear the stories. So I think it's cool that you're getting to hear those stories as well. Well, they're another group of people that you guys honor as well. And this is big in my house. I was a teacher for a number of years. My wife's worked in the public school system. My mother was a teacher, the whole 9 yards, lots of family going back. how big are teachers in the state of Oklahoma? That's not a fat joke, by the way. How big? I mean, how important? Let it go. Just let it go. How important are teachers? And I think it's really neat that you guys honor them as well.
I think we've always known how important teachers were, but during this pandemic, we're appreciating them a little bit more. But that is something else we do here at Mid-Continental Broadcasting is our Excellence in Education Award program, where we select a teacher a month to nominate, and then at the end of the school year, typically around May, we host a big banquet and nominate and select a Teacher of the Year. Unfortunately, because of the current circumstances, we were not able to host that banquet. But I think we're still selecting a Teacher of the Year that's in the works with our general manager, Jason Taylor, Christy Rothrock, Scott Corbin, and the rest of the crew here to get one selected. But no, teachers, some of the most important people in our lives, they spend more time with us during the school year than our parents. So it's obviously a good thing to acknowledge them when we can.
One of my favorite memes that I have seen within the last week, and I've seen so much online. It's ridiculous how much online content that I've had so much. I think my phone is just screaming at me saying, please look away. But one of my favorite ones is the shoe polish on the side of the car that said, the teachers lied. My child is not a joy to have in class. So we're definitely, as parents, feeling the homeschooling end of it.
One of my favorite statistics comes from Wallet Hub. It's a group that does national surveys on what people are spending their money on in certain times. Alcohol sales are up 23% currently across the country.
Oh, that is so funny. Yeah, that's it is interesting what has been determined to be essential. And just go ahead and fill in the blank with any of your jokes, by the way, right there. Shout out to Brian. Glad that you're here tonight. I was almost expecting a joke right there from you, Brian, on that one. Tammy, Don, Matthew, some other folks who have stepped in tonight. Thank you for watching and stopping by BCP Live. We're talking with Chris Witherspoon right now. And Chris, I signed up to win a mower. I put my name in the drawing for this thing, and I know it's been pushed back because, listen, I want to see if I can mow like a pro. I'm willing to give it a shot.
So we teamed up with Texoma Utility over there off Washington, and we got a mower to give away. It is a 54-inch deck Kubota zero turn, and we were supposed to be giving that away in April. Again, due to the current climate, we had to push it back because we do expect around 200 to 300 people to show up to this event. Several years ago, we did a big event like this with Texoma Harley, gave away a $17,000 Harley Davidson, and we had over 1,000 people at Texoma Harley trying to win that thing. So we expect, a large turnout there, and we just can't do that without some restrictions being lifted and some ease being set in people's minds. But that will still take place at some point. Tentatively, we're looking around July. Businesses can still become a part of that deal where we go out and do live broadcasts from their businesses, and that's how people get registered to win that zero turn from Texoma Utility. Kyle over there is just some of the best people you can work with, and we're fortunate to have them with us.
All right, I'm going to go ahead then right now, Chris. I want to give a shout out. Hi, Ronald. Glad you're watching tonight too, because through here you've actually mentioned a couple of the advertisers that are on my list and actually on my Tuesday list to talk about. So I want to give a shout out to some of the Bryan County Patriot advertisers really quickly. Thank you for what you do and allowing me to even be on the air nights like this. Shout out to Texoma Utility Equipment, as well as All Seasons Travel, Bryan Agri Products, the Choctaw Nation, Foster Care. I have a great foster care organization there. Firehouse Subs, Hausner's, Justice Insurance, Prices Printing, Taco Casa, Van Meter Realty, and Steubenville Chevrolet. I want to give a shout out to all those folks, and I'm very thankful for all the advertisers for the Bryan County Patriot. Look, you're talking about things being postponed and pushed back and postponed and pushed back, and I'm ready for something to not be postponed and pushed back. I've been talking today with some sports information directors, one of them in particular I visited with for quite a while, and I just met him today. Trying to keep the sports end of what I do going and that alive and well, so that when we do get back into some of these sports things, we can just pretty much hit the ground running. And there's still opportunities to interview coaches and athletes and things like that. So, there's still things to do sports wise. I'm ready for us to not talk about postponing, but we're going to talk about it one more time too, because you've had another thing that you guys take care of in revolving fundraising, and that's talking about the softball classic. Talk about that for a moment, and how far down the line? How far down the line are we pushing this?
So Mid-Continental Broadcasting, which consists of 106.3 KLBC, 99.7 The Buzz, and 94.1 KSCO, the Good Time Oldies, we put together a radio softball classic every year. It's an 8U to 14-year-old softball tournament, and we raise money for the Boys and Girls Club of Denison and the Boys and Girls Club of Red River Valley, Oklahoma. All the proceeds go to those two organizations. Typically, that's held in June. We had to push that back. So we're looking tentatively at October 24th, or the weekend of October 24th. Hopefully that's still some good softball weather. I know a lot of those younger girls, they're just fine playing in that weather as long as they get to play. So, and as long as we can raise money for a great organization, we're happy to be a part of it.
Hey, that's fall classic weather right there. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's not bad at all. And I'd like to say that I can still play a little bit of softball. I don't know if I should or not, but I'd like to say that I can still play a little softball. So.
I can still catch the ball, but swinging the bat, my bat goes out. I'm on the heating pad for a month or two. But, we held this thing last year in June, and it was a great turnout, great success, raised a lot of money, but it was blistering hot. So maybe October will be nicer weather.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that. Well, shout out really quickly, Susan, thanks for watching tonight. Glad you made it, Brian, as well. So, give the wave there, and Stephen Potts, Ronnie Walters, man, we're gonna have to time. Yeah, there's that way. We're gonna have to time the Coffee Network thing going on, and I know Coffee Network should be. Well, I think Coffee Network's still Zoom tomorrow, but anyway, we got to get the coffee going on. Also, going to give a shout out to Jace. Thanks for watching tonight. She was watching from Nebraska last week, back in the great state of Oklahoma. And before we go back to the Boys and Girls Club, I want to really quickly talk about you were on sports for just a moment. Hey, Jamie, thanks for checking in tonight. I always appreciate it when you make it. And Susan, hope you're doing well. You are working with the Durant broadcasts now. It's you're not just this man in the midday, but you got some sports broadcasting going on. And I think, was last year your first year? Because I think I recall seeing you in Soma Engraving, and you were talking about the broadcast then. Was last year your first year?
It was, and that's actually where you and I met, was over at Texoma Engraving. Shout out to Kevin and Susan over there. It was so crazy how I got into this whole industry. I was just hired as the account executive to handle radio advertising. And then one day, our general manager, Jason, called me into the office. Scott and Jim were back there, and he said, "Have a seat." And I said, "Oh, no, what did I do?"
Hey, that sounds like an ambush.
It was. And he said, "Hey, do you want to do color commentary with Jim during football season?" And I said, "Absolutely." What is color commentary? Had no idea. And Jim Reagan is a legend in this field. Everybody knows him, not just here in Bryan County, but down in Texas, Oklahoma City. He started Friday Night Lights, and he did that for 17 years, and it's still going strong. So
right, yeah, Friday Night Finals. You're actually right the first time, and I'll tell you what, this is going to age Jim. And sorry about this, Jim, but I remember listening to Jim Reagan on the radio when I was a teenager, and I was in.
Someone's cutting out.
Yeah, that's all right. I think
there we go.
Back online now. When we were dating and we'd go to a football game, we'd turn on the radio wherever we were to pick up, and some station would be picking up that ONN broadcast. And we get Jim Reagan with Friday Night Finals. And, I've called a game or two and made a trip or two with Jim over the years. And you're right. That's a great situation there. And it's interesting, the doors that God opens for you to get to walk through. And I hope you're enjoying the sports broadcasting.
I love every minute of it and can't wait till football season this year. And, you keep calling me the midday guy, and currently I am. That deal was kind of handed to me too on accident, I think, because again, I just handle the sales. But throughout this whole thing, I I wanted something to do, so I talked to our general manager, and he was on board with it. And Scott Corbin trained me for several minutes on how to run the computer and all that stuff. And it was sink or swim, but we've had a good team here that's helped me tremendously, and I've just had so much fun doing it.
Well, and that's pretty much what broadcasting is too. So get used to it. If if you're not used to it already, it pretty much is live broadcast, which is what we're doing right now. And thank you for watching this presentation of the Bryan County Patriot BCP live on a Tuesday night, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. And man, I'm glad you're watching me and paying attention right now. Pat, thank you for watching as well. Glad that you stepped on to the broadcast tonight. As we're visiting with Chris Witherspoon. Now, Chris, I know that we were talking about some sports broadcasting, and I said I'd get back to the Boys and Girls Club because that's something that you really have a hand in as well. And we have called it for a number of years the Boys and Girls Club of Durant. But I remember it wasn't that long ago that title shifted a little bit because there's more than one club right now that is being overseen by the group here in Durant. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm one of 20 members on the board of directors. We have 15 clubs across the state of Oklahoma that are under our direction, and we oversee all the way from Wilson and Hilton and Ardmore, Oklahoma, to Broken Bow, Hugo, and some sites over there. And the work that the club is doing is just absolutely phenomenal. And I do want to give a big shout out to our director, Larry Long, for everything that he does, continues to do, has accomplished. It's just absolutely phenomenal.
Right. It is now the Boys and Girls Club of Red River. Did I get that right?
Red River Valley, Oklahoma, because there's actually a Boys and Girls Club of Red River Valley. I want to say Missouri.
Oh, my goodness. I thought you were going to follow that up with Texas, but okay.
No. No, the Red River belongs to us.
Hey, listen, I was told by Jamie last night to keep the horns on the other side of the river there. So anyway, Jennifer, how you doing? Hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you stopping by tonight. Well, listen, when you do that with 15 clubs, and how you're not able to meet with those kids right now, are you? I mean, it's things are again challenging times.
No, we're not. Restrictions haven't been lifted in order for us to open up. However, we are still serving meals to the kids every day, every chance we get. Currently, we're serving about 11,500 meals per week across our 15 clubs. That includes some clubs are opened up on Saturdays for people to come and get meals. And that's not just for the kids that we have that are members of the club, but that's for anyone in the community that needs it. As far as the number of kids we have a little over 3,300 between all 15 sites and 650 just here in Durant alone.
That is something. Well, what now? That's a lot of kids.
It is.
It really is a lot of kids. And when you think about Durant, Bryan County as a whole, which, by the way, Susan's letting me know that Red River, by the way, does belong to Oklahoma. If you check out the state boundaries and all those things.
That's right.
That's neither here nor there right now. The town is growing. The county is growing. And it doesn't take a lot of, just looking around to see that going on. But still, that's a large number. What do kids do to be involved in something like this when things get back into something resembling normalcy?
So we are actually working with statewide, nationwide, and local health experts and government officials to determine the best course of action to reopen. Do we reopen to all the kids? Do we reopen to a select few? And by select, I mean essential workers, children of essential workers, and things like that. It's going to be a tough decision no matter what we decide to do. But just know that it will be in the best interest of the kids and the community.
Well, I'm sure, and I've heard this from so many places and stopped by different businesses and seeing people and the work that goes in. Obviously, when the time is right, then it will open up again. I'm sure that in the meantime, though, that the facilities themselves have definitely undergone some cleaning for sure. But is this an opportunity also to make some improvements?
It's been a big opportunity for improvements. The first week and a half to 2 weeks that we were shut down, the staff there at the Boys and Girls Club locally here in Durant, I mean, we had 11 people there almost every day, just deep cleaning the walls, the carpet. Every book in the building got wiped down with Lysol or some type of disinfectant. The building has been spring cleaned, as my mother would say. As far as the improvements to the building, we realized that we were going to have an ample amount of time to do some projects that we couldn't do with children there. So almost the entire building on the inside's been repainted, including our massive gymnasium. It looks absolutely phenomenal. The blue's a little darker, the white's a little brighter, the floor's a little shinier. The railing looks good. The concrete's been power washed. I mean, we're ready to open up for kids. We're excited to open up for the kids and their families to see what all's been accomplished by the staff there. We're just waiting on the go ahead from certain officials, so to speak.
Right. One other thing too, before we go any farther, I want to commend you. You have navigated words so well tonight and kept me from getting kicked off of YouTube, at least to this point. I'm really pretty impressed. I'm going to do my best for the rest of the broadcast to navigate those words as well, because sometimes I just plow right through them and say, whatever, I'm still live on Facebook. It's okay. But I'm just impressed, Chris. I have to tell you that. So
thank you.
Shout out your direction from the host. One other thing about the Boys and Girls Club too that I think is cool, and you talked about the gym itself and the gym being so incredibly cool, and that there one of the big thing, is the basketball, and you guys have some basketball that goes on. Hey, listen, kids love that.
Yeah, so we started the basketball league about 8 seasons ago or so, I believe. We started out with 8 teams. That was all we had, and that was K through 6th grade. As of this season, we have right at 40 teams, maybe 41, 42. I'd have to get with Chris Mize, our athletic director over there. But you got to think, there's on average 8 to 10 kids per team, 40 teams. I'm in broadcasting. I'm not a math whiz, but that's a lot of kids, and we only have one gym to utilize, and we've got to get those kids to have practices, to have games. Fortunately, this year, Victory Life has helped us out tremendously when we were able to hold basketball games, and we held half of them over there. But we are looking at putting up a new facility, a new basketball gym. Now, it wouldn't be, a high school size gym. It'd be a little league size gym, but that would allow us to host more games, more practices, and be more accommodating to the number of players and students that we have.
Well, that would be really cool. And as you get 40 teams in there, it's almost of necessity, Chris. It really is. I mean, you're looking to be able to host that kind of event. Running event as it is, obviously not all of them at one time. This may be something then that we talk about again in the near future and go, okay, how do we raise the money for that? Because to be able to meet the needs of the growth of the county and the growth of the Boys and Girls Club of the Red River Valley of Oklahoma, right?
Yes.
Got that right. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, to get that done, man, we need the facilities because we want to do it right. And we want the kids to have a great experience.
Absolutely. And we want them to have to have good equipment, good facilities, something that we might not necessarily have had growing up as kids. We always want our children to have better than what we had. And as you said, that is all done by fundraising in the community and community grants and things of that nature. And fortunately, we have got an extremely supportive community here. You mentioned Stephen Potts was watching. I've gotten with him several times on some things like the Radio Softball Classic, and Indian Nation Wholesale has been so quick to donate whatever we needed, whether it be sunflower seeds and goodie bags, to really anything, hand sanitizer and things of that nature. They've always been on board. Webstrop the same way. They've donated more material than I can count to the Boys and Girls Club. They are constantly donating stuff to us, which is always great because it does go to support our kids and our communities.
You sound like my longtime broadcast partner in Michael Westbrook. I am a math guy. I'm a numbers guy and a broadcaster. Mm-hmm. He's always looking at me with numbers going, no, I'm not real sure about that. So I was getting flashbacks right there. And talking to somebody from KLBC, that's actually, I was working with Michael there, 2009. That's goes by. My first 11 years of broadcasting Southeastern games were on KLBC. And so, yeah, some fun memories there. It's where I met Michael. Obviously, I've met you, and we met again in Texoma Engraving, but of course, you're doing KLBC stuff. So I appreciate that. Well, listen, as we wrap up our time together, I want to say thank you so much for coming on and talking about those things. How many cool things are going on in this community, and those are the things that with the Bryan County Patriot, I just want to promote over and again. I realize not all news is positive, and some of the things that I post, I don't have to post everything. Some of the things that I post, I know may or may not always have that positive slant, but my heart is to say, hey, we're thankful, first responders. We're thankful, teachers. We're thankful for all of you folks who are going out and making a difference in this community. And I really appreciate you coming on, Chris, and just talking about those folks for a while. And the folks at the Boys and Girls Club. Oh, my goodness. What a service.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Joey. When you asked me to come on, I was elated, to say the least. I was very excited.
Well, we're very blessed, and I hope everyone appreciates that. And shout out to you guys. So really quickly then, where do they listen to you? When do they listen to you? And I know that the season is coming up soon. I'm hoping for a sure and a fast start to the football season. I'm hoping it starts on time. There we go. A timely start
Absolutely.
to the football season. So with all the things that you mentioned, wrap it up. How do people help, and what can they do?
Well, first of all, listen to Scott and Jim in the morning. Those guys are the legends here locally. They'll be on from 6 to 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. I come on 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Until the quarantine is lifted, and then I'll go back to my regular 9 to 5 here at the station. Then we've got Taryn Sherwood with Movie Madness. It comes on from 2 to 6 Monday through Friday. As far as the sports world goes, when it comes to football, got the high school schedule here. Todd Vargas sent this over to Jim Reagan. Looks like the first game is scheduled for September 4th, and it's going to be at Medill. There's some teams on this schedule that we haven't played in a long while, like Medill. Now, we did play them in a preseason game last year, but not the same. Shawnee, we don't have Ardmore this year, and there's another one we don't have, and I can't recall. I wish Jim was here. Todd Vargas.
I'm going to post that. And if I haven't already, it was something I was even thinking of this week. And as we were talking earlier, I thought, man, I hadn't posted that yet. So I will have it on the Bryan County Patriot. So no stress there. Go ahead.
Good deal. That's pretty much it for me. I think Todd Vargas has came into the Durant Line football program and made some significant changes. You know, he got with Sean Cooper over at C4. So Sean's more involved in the Durant Lions football program now, which is only going to be beneficial for us all the way around. I think Todd's doing a great job so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this season holds with his new offense.
Oh, I'm excited about it too. I'm excited about him coming over. I got to coach his brother in basketball. Again, this is way back when, and his niece in basketball when I was a high school basketball coach. And I know he will bring a lot of positive things to the table. So I think that's really cool. Well, all right. We will have, by the way, that schedule on the Patriot. If I can remember, I'll get it tomorrow. We'll get it out there pretty quickly, though. But yes, we want it to be timely. Chris Witherspoon, thank you so much. And we want to have you back. We'd like to get to talk then a little bit later on as some of these things become no longer postponed, but events that we're promoting to say this is coming up now.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Joey.
All right. God bless you, man. Have a good night.
God bless you. Take care.
Thank you. Chris Witherspoon from the Mid-Continental Broadcasting KLBC. He's there, and he's in the midday right now. So thanks to everybody for stopping by tonight. Listen, I want to really quickly thank our advertisers one more time before I get into some final notes here and a couple of things I said that I would mention. Not quite half an hour tonight. Not bad. Not bad at all. Chris did a fantastic job. I really enjoyed getting to visit with him. Very thankful to have him on tonight. And man, it's always fun to get to visit with somebody that you know is going to bring a lot to the table. So I really appreciated him. All Seasons Travel, as well as Texoma Utility Equipment, Choctaw Nation, the Foster Care, Bryan Agri Products, Firehouse Subs, Stuteville Chevrolet, Justice Insurance, Hausner's, Prices Printing, Taco Casa, and Van Meter Realty as sponsors for tonight. Well, you know, we can talk about numbers, and Chris, again, did such a great job of navigating around certain words that generally I try to avoid when I'm talking here. Sometimes I just plow through them anyway and just get them out of the way. But I was talking about fallacies of logic, and I really think we need to get into that maybe a little bit more. And I'll drop a couple of them here tonight as we wrap up. And again, what does it mean when a preacher says in closing? Absolutely nothing. That's pretty much what it means. Well, the first one we talked about the other day, we talked about the false equivalence in saying that just because two things might share something in common doesn't mean that they are equivalent. I saw this meme the other day. I thought this was really pretty interesting. It was a picture of Tom Brady, and and it caught my attention because it said false equivalence. It was a picture of Tom Brady, and it said, "Doesn't start trash fires, won 6 Super Bowls." Same guy, same guy. Tom Brady won 6 Super Bowls. Tom Brady also doesn't start trash fires. So does that make the two equivalent? Does that mean if you don't start trash fires, you're going to be, skilled enough, talented enough, have the work ethic enough to do what it takes, the God-given ability to do what it takes to win Super Bowls? Absolutely not. The two have nothing whatsoever to do with one another, even though traits that are found in Tom Brady. It's a false equivalence. We need to think about that as we're looking at some of these numbers as we go down the line. One more. I'll drop this one, and I really will wrap up after this one. One more. Ad hominem. Have you ever heard that before? Ad hominem. Now, there are a number of fallacies of logic that are out there, and so many of them are seen. So many of them are on display, by the way, by the national media. Again, White House press corps, it makes me want to stop broadcasting sports, focus on the news, just so I could hopefully rise through the ranks and get at least one of those people out of there. It's an embarrassment so often to journalism as a whole. But ad hominem. You ever heard that one before? Anyone heard that before? Not getting much more commentary on the comments there. That's all right. Chris, thanks for joining in. Brent, joining tonight. Ad hominem. All right. Ad hominem is an attack on a person's character rather than an attack or an argument itself. So if you don't have anything that you can say about the argument, it's an attack on the character rather than the argument or the opinion or the qualification. If you don't have an argument that you can go up against someone else's facts or argument with, then you have to run them down. You have to say bad things about them. You have to call them an ist or call them a phobe, or someone that I watch on YouTube that I enjoy his commentary a lot. I think he coined the phrase an istophobe. So if you don't like if you don't have an argument, if you don't have anything to back up what you'd like to say, anything to bring to the table, then just make fun of them. Degrade their character. Talk bad about them. Call them an ist. It's an ad hominem. That is, I love hominy. I do not like hominy. I have stories about that, Brent. Anyway, yes, no, it's exactly right. It does. It does seem to be that is the mainstream media's MO. Instead of bringing facts to the table, let's talk about this person. Let's talk about this man. Let's talk about this group of people. Instead of talking and being able to back anything up with facts. It's called an ad hominem, and it is a fallacy of logic. Something you can bring to the conversation around the water cooler one of these days. If we ever get to go back to talking around the water cooler, and we may not even know what a water cooler is when this is all said and done. Anyway, all right. There you go. That's tonight's fun time with Joey here on BCP Live, learning about fallacies of logic, false equivalence, and ad hominem. Go ahead and okay, seriously, here, if do you want homework, here's your homework. Next time, and Bryan, you're exactly right. Next time you watch favorite national news, and especially when there's some kind of White House press conference, check it out. See if either one of those two don't come into play, specifically the ad hominem. very likely that's going to come into play. Look, I'm thankful for you guys watching tonight. I think it's been a fun broadcast. Shout out to Chris Witherspoon again. Man, I enjoyed that guy. Enjoyed having him on. Hope that he will come back again. A couple more guests later on this week. We have a lot more and a few more things to talk about as the week goes on. We are now into May. Hope your Cinco de Mayo went well today and that you've had a good one. Looks like a good week ahead. Hopefully lots more good news. There were 148 people in the state of Oklahoma that recovered today. No new numbers in Bryan County. They stick with the 9 that we had from yesterday. Be wise, use discretion, and do not walk in fear. Thanks for watching tonight. God bless you all. Have a great night.